What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about BTBT at the request of Teresa. Teresa, you're the only one that's requested a crypto mining stock today, so you get this video to yourself. Low to high here. Low to high, it looks like you found support on your 382, came back up to try and break out, but you just couldn't do it. More or less formed a double top, and now what you're probably doing is you're going to go below this 382. Generally speaking, after like first attempts, the second attempt is the time that you break through the 382. And just with the overall shape of this thing, to me it looks like an M pattern that has yet to see its like full development. So absolutely, I do believe you're going to go below these lows. And yes, we had a 10.6% week last week, closing in the green. I still think you're going lower. You like butter, cut right through that 618 and went up to you're actually up at the 618 now and potentially bouncing off of it, holding it as resistance. I very much expect that you will at least see $1.50. If not, potentially prices all the way down to $1.06. If not, potentially even all the way back at your like lows for the cycle actually, or is that your all-time lows? No, it's not your all-time lows, but you know, that 1618 would kind of come in nice if we put a line right there. I'll just show you what I mean. Come on now. Something like that. That would kind of look nice for this like ascending structure that you have. Man, I'm just going to use a straight line because I am bad at drawing straight lines sometimes. Something like that to that, whatever. But you might not actually hit this because that would put you all the way out at the end of this year, and I think this thing will start to turn up before then. But who knows, man? You really don't know. It could. I do think that some mining stocks it will take until like the later half of this year for things to start turning up. So you never know. But maybe it's better if we use the closing bases. I don't know, something like that. But nonetheless, it wouldn't be crazy to go all the way down to $1. But at a minimum, I would expect you hold 150, 130, something like that in that area. If not, all the way down to $1 you go. Weekly RSI looks like it wants to go down. Daily RSI showing a little bit of life right now for sure, but can you get above the 50? Can you maintain above the 50? That's a question to ask, because right now all you got is a lower high here, lower high here. Even if it goes all the way up to 320, which is very possible, this absolutely could go to $3.20 before moving lower. Maybe even a little bit above the 382 because it's common enough to do that. So even if you went up to like 340, don't get too excited. But nonetheless, I do expect you to go down at least to $1.50, at most to $1.05, and that's really it, man. I got nothing else to add to this. 1 hour looks decent. 2 hour looks decent. The daily looks decent. The monthly, I have a hard time with monthly RSIs, man. But the monthly itself, much like the weekly, to me it just looks like an incomplete M pattern. So, and the weekly RSI to me looks like it wants to go lower. So, I would say expect prices below here. Again, one last time, $1.50 to $1. That's your range. Probably around that $1.50 to $1.30 area, if I really had to guess. So that's BTBT. Oh, and you wanted to know how high it could go. I really don't know. I really don't know. From top to bottom here, look at that 141 right there at your 236 here. You could see $100. If we look at the market cap real quick on this thing, that's $238 million. So a 10x would be let's call it 2.4 billion. That would be a 35x, so 2.4 times 3, right? Would be 7.2. 7.2 plus 1.2 equals $8.4 billion. Yeah, it could see an $8.4 billion market cap. That's possible. Will it is the real question. I don't know if it deserves that market cap. I don't know anything about the fundamentals of this company, but if you were to see new all-time highs, the minimum target I would expect would be around $100. And that's a pretty sizable market cap, coming from these lower caps to breaking multiple billions of dollars. $100 might hold as resistance. That's also psychological resistance there. So maybe go a little bit above it. You test out that $10 billion market cap a little bit above that. You might even go all the way up to 182 or 423. Those are absolutely achievable market caps, but will it is the real question. So first and foremost, I would look at this $100 level as a potential area of serious resistance to find. But that's toward the end of the cycle, so we'll see. We'll see. It does look like this thing, when it moves up, it likes to move up pretty ferociously. So, you know, we've got until like essentially like this over here, right? That bar there before the end of the cycle. Could it move up like at these trajectories? Absolutely. You could see new all-time highs by the end of the cycle. So hard to say. For now, down. As far as what happens in a year and a half from now, a lot can change in a year and a half, you know. But let's just see how it does right now, because nonetheless, you know, this kind of structure here is an overall W. Yes, in the more immediate term, you have this little M pattern here. Oops, that's not, wasn't drawn too well. M pattern. But I like to call this pattern the reverse bow, because for whatever reason, to me, it looks like a bow, right? Like that. This is the part where your like hand would go, where the arrow goes. I don't know, and it's the reverse bow because the price goes the opposite direction. Like, to me, it just I don't know. I don't know, man. I've shot bows, I've shot crossbows and regular bows plenty of times in my life, but I don't know what the terminology is for all these parts. But to me, it's a reverse bow. It's like a W with an M inside of it. It's very common. It's actually a very strong bottoming pattern or topping pattern. So if it was a topping pattern, it would be an M with a W inside of it, right? Anyways, definitely potential to see new all-time highs. If it were to do that, 101 would be the minimum target and a likely area of resistance for sure, psychologically, and you know, maybe even a little bit above it. It's common enough to go a little bit above your 1272. It's more common to actually touch it, like tip it and reject it from there, but common enough to go a little bit above it. And what's a little bit above it would be, you know, if it's at $8.4 billion market cap at $101, you would see about a $10 billion market cap, not too far above that. So you might find resistance around $10 billion just below that, somewhere in that 100 to 120 level probably, but nonetheless, or maybe even actually lower than that. Nonetheless, it's probably going lower from here. See you at $1.50 or lower. That's what I got. So if you like the video, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more. And I say it's going lower from here. Maybe it goes up a little bit. Maybe you see like a whole nother $0.50, 75 cents more, something like that. But it's probably going down before it breaks those highs. So take care. Bye-bye. Adios. I don't know how to say goodbye, really. Au revoir. There we go.